A huge thank you to all the businesses that employ these firefighters and let them leave at the drop of a hat to respond to the fire and rescue calls. You are doing your part in the community situations like yesterday, and it helps me do my job having everyone on scene. Thank you also to the community members who recognize that added stress to our firefighters, law enforcement, and EMTs yesterday in the extreme heat we were dealing with. I hesitate in reading the following because I'm not somewhat sure of who all was there yesterday, but I'd like to give a huge thank you to Megan Roberts, State Farm for delivering coolers of water and Louis tickets, the YMCA staff for delivering water and towels, Jen Egan and Sarah Sisler from Trivium for delivering water and picking up food at Hy-Vee, Atlantic Hy-Vee and staff for preparing sandwiches and donating them and delivering water and Gatorade, the school staff for getting ice for our cooling vests, and again, to those that helped that I'm not aware of, thank you.
Yeah, first of all, no one got hurt. We had construction workers there, we had staff people there, and obviously we had many first responders that Tom just alluded to. So we're very thankful for not having to deal with injuries. I know the firefighters got warm, EMC took great care of them, and I'm sure it was a tough night for them last night, but Tom looks pretty good today. So anyway. We received a significant amount of water damage in the middle school as our first responders fought the fire and got it out real quick. So the majority of that has water damage. Fortunately for us, the south end classrooms, the gym and the auditorium experienced little to no damage. So we're pretty blessed to have those big areas not receiving the water damage that the rest of the rooms received. Starting yesterday afternoon and continuing today, we've had insurance adjusters, mitigation companies, as well as other important people on the scene assessing damages and trying to move forward as quickly as possible. Once we get some numbers from the mitigation companies, we will call an emergency board meeting. There will be no 24-hour notice. So if we have our numbers later this afternoon, we'll call it shortly thereafter that. We'll send that information out to our local media folks with that. Really the only action item on that will be to accept one of the mitigation not to exceed limit number, and then we'll be able to get the cleanup started. There's a lot more steps to the process, so at this time we're unsure of the availability of the building. Right now Mr. Rasmussen is gathering, getting information, so when we have more answers, we can put a plan together and get ready for our middle school students on August 23rd, which is the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And once again, I can't be thankful enough for all the people that Tom recognized. It's an amazing community where you have everybody come together. There's tragedy going on at the time. I don't know if tragedy is the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use right now. And if it wasn't for their fast response, we'd be dealing with a lot bigger issue than we are currently. So that's kind of where we're at in the process. So is there any questions?
Yeah, I'll kind of go over that here quick. So the call came in at 12:37 yesterday afternoon. I showed up on scene at 12:39, took fire command, and I see when I got there, I was on the north side of the building, and the fire was directly about in the middle of the building on the roof. At that time, we weren't sure of how much damage had been done yet. There was a lot of smoke and obviously flames probably in the neighborhood of 20 foot high on top of that building. Not knowing all the combustibles that were up there, we immediately pulled a 2.5-inch line off of a pumper while we were getting our aerial set up to the east of the scene. We set the pumper up to the north, directly north of it, and got a 2.5 on that, and then Lewis pulled a line, and they were shooting up there too. So we kind of got a little quick attack on it, and then once we got the aerial set up, not too much later than that, once those guys got up there on the ladder, we took a 2.5 hose. I shut the down lines from the ground, shut those off. The aerial ran for just a little bit, and then we shut the aerial off and let the 2.5, the guys get up on the roof and actually attack the fire. Actually, once we got up there with the 2.5 and attacked it, the guys got it knocked down pretty quick. We had a lot of cleanup to do. There was a lot of stuff that was still on fire that they had to pitch over to get it off the building. And they had to do some digging and scraping in there to get all the embers put out below that rubber roof that was up there on top of the building. Most of the damage is just in between, in the middle part of that building. I'm guessing probably 75 feet, 100 feet, probably at least, and maybe 50 foot wide. It's stuck in there where they were getting ready to do the roofing. So we were very fortunate that that it had a concrete roof on that underneath. So it did not, to my knowledge of what we left it at yesterday when I left command, we did not see any interior fire that got into the building. It was all water and smoke.
Do you have any idea of what caused it?
We do not. At this time, it is under investigation.
Tom, and speaking with the, or Steve, and speaking with the crew that was up there on the roof, and they were away at lunch, I understand, when the fire broke out. Do they have any thoughts on what might have happened?
They don't. I know that the fire marshal is up there, and they have some private insurance investigators up there right now, and they will dig through all the burnt rubble, and they will come up with a source that started that fire.
I know on social media, some people are already assessing blame, supposedly for the roofing company, but that's a bit harsh, I would think, considering the circumstances are unknown.
Correct. At this time, just being under investigation, until they go through and take their time to get everything figured out, nobody's going to have an idea of really what started it.
I think it's real premature for those conversations to be had.
When you were talking about cost, do you have a figure right now how much the damage was, or is that part of?
No, we're gonna know a little bit more this afternoon, hopefully, or if not in the morning. We will have a mitigation number, so that number will be not to exceed that number for the cleanup. And then the next phase will be the repair piece, so we don't know what costs that will be associated with that. So we'll know a little bit about what it's gonna cost to get the water out, get the smoke out, all of that stuff, hopefully later on today.
So there's two parts, there'll be the restoration, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Then the mitigate, then the repair.
Yeah, but our goal right now, Tom, is to get those mitigation, the cleaning crews in ASAP. And then that repair, restoration, as you called it, will come a little later, and we have a little more time to work through that process.
Was there any structural damage to the building that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of, Tom.
Not that I'm aware of either.
Okay. Is it, has it been cleared that people can actually go into it at this point, or maybe not because you're still investigating?
As Tom said, it's under investigation. Does that mean no one's been in there? No, because we've had mitigation companies, we've had adjusters in there. Only a few people have been on top of the roof, but for the most part, it is closed for business. Once we get a bid approved for mitigation, that's gonna move fast, and there's gonna be a lot of noise coming out of there because the power's shut off. It'll remain shut off until that whole process is figured out as well.
This would probably be before your time, Steve, but Tom, you've been here your whole life, I understand. Has there ever been a fire in any of the Atlantic School District buildings prior to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
And I know you kind of mentioned this earlier, Steve, but
Well, it's too early to say. Like I said, hopefully by the end of the week, early next week, we'll have some idea of what space might be available on August 23rd. So trying to give you an answer to that question at this time is pretty difficult. But we're in the process of looking at different spaces. You know, we've had some community people call and say, hey, we might have a classroom or two. We have the Achievement Center out there. If we have access to the gym and the auditorium, we can create some temporary classrooms there. But we're going to wait a little bit before we know what parameters we have to work around, and then we'll put a plan together for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And you know approximately how many students?
Yeah, we're between 100 and 110 per class.
Mr. Barber, it's mostly water damage, correct? So what would the repairs entail? What kind of repairs will have to be done? Carpeting,
Yes.
what else?
I haven't seen the bid yet, Tom, so. We've got some encouraging, we had some encouraging news this morning. A lot of the water stayed within the terrazzo. And if you've been in the middle school, that terrazzo runs up the walls 3 or 4 inches. So we're hopeful that, the structure of the building plus that terrazzo prevented our walls to be damaged. We do have water on hardwood floors. We have water on carpets. You have some ceiling tiles that have fell through. So those are probably a lot of the things that are going to consist of that. We're hopeful that our gym will be okay. Obviously, our gym would be an expensive fix, but that's probably most of the repairs that will be needed.
Closing thoughts?
I just, once again, I just want to thank everybody in the community that stepped up and helped out. And the first responders from the area departments, the Atlantic Police Department, Cass County Sheriff's Department, Cass EMS was up there helping out with rehab. And we got the drone out, the Cass drone out, it was nice to get some visual up there. So I want to thank all those people, and it was a job well done.
Yeah, I echo that as well. Once again, no one got hurt. It was a dark day yesterday for us in regards to the fire, but the sun came up this morning, and we'll get it figured out, and we'll move as fast as we can, and we'll be better on the other side.